Well, thank you, Jessica, and thank you for everyone for participating today and joining us on short notice. Um, Corruption is alive and well in Hochul's New York. It's pretty clear. The stench of the Cuomo Hochul corruption machine, it continues to permeate the halls of our state capitol. And I've said it before, and I'll certainly say it again. You get to meet the new boss, and she's the same exact person as the old boss. In many ways, I think Kathy Hochul has even demonstrated worse governance than Andrew Cuomo. She pretends to care. She makes sweeping promises about ending the corrupt ways of the Cuomo era. But really, let's face it, she is continuing them full throttle. And it's not a surprise to anyone who's watched her continue to serve as Cuomo's loyal and dutiful lieutenant governor for 7 straight years. And during that time, Hochul watched and she studied and she honed the pay to play handbook. Now, so much so that in less than 1 year, Kathy Hochul has been able to raise a staggering $34 million. I mean, that is a figure that would make Andrew Cuomo blush at this point. Those donations, they're not from adoring New Yorkers, as her public opinion, status isn't that strong. They were by and large from people who have business in front of the state. And they know the price of entry is to donate and donate big to the governor. Now, case in point, what we've seen this week, the Times Union expose that revealed that Kathy Hochul received a whopping $300,000 in donations from a family and then gave them a $637 million no bid awards, that a company that made hoverboards for QVC. This was not a time tested, tried and true medical device company. This was a company that sold hoverboards to QVC. They had never made a state donation ever, but they made the donations and they got $637 million in a no bid contract. Now, it's not news to anyone here. People all over New York got into the PPE business, and they were certainly not the only entity that could have done this. I don't even think you can call these no bid contracts. They didn't even have a contract. They just put in a purchase order in a bypass review of the controller. And she was allowed to do this because this feckless legislature has allowed her to have extraordinary powers in perpetuity. She just renewed them. The entire ordeal is exactly what's wrong with Albany and the corrupt, complicit cabal that we have under one-party Democratic control. Now, every single New Yorker is paying a corruption tax. And it's hard to imagine it getting much worse than Cuomo, but Kathy Hochul's actions, she really puts Andrew to shame at this point. She's raising millions by flying around on a taxpayer-funded plane and a helicopter, and she's selling government out the back door. I mean, her gross abuse of the corporate aircraft for the state of New York. I mean, she's living like a billionaire, and that's been made very clear by the Post this week. It's grotesque and it's corrupt, and it absolutely has to end this November. So today I submitted a FOIL request calling on Governor Hochul and the Department of Health to turn over all of their communications with the Tibelli family and Digital Gadgets. Every documentation, every email, every text, any communications with the Tibelli family and their company, Digital Assets. New Yorkers need to know who our government spoke to and when they spoke to them and what was discussed. Now, yesterday I called for a full investigation into this matter, and I think that the U.S. attorney should investigate this. And I think that this is Hochul's chance to prove that if she really cares about transparency, she would place a call over to the attorney general's office with a referral to investigate her own office in her own misdeeds. If Andrew Cuomo can do it, then so can she. Because as we always say, sunlight is the best disinfectant, and so is two-party government. That's even better. We cannot continue down this path of one-party rule that eradicates all accountability. Our system of government was set up for checks and balances, but when everything is controlled by a single party, they protect each other and their own interests. I mean, Tom DiNapoli is a lapdog, not a watchdog. Tish James, Lord only knows what she's been working on since she dropped out of the governor's race. She's pretty silent. We're losing our state. We're watching billions be flushed down the toilet in cozy little deals. We are the tale of two states, one for the special interests and one for the everyday citizen who's getting absolutely screwed by their government on a daily basis. Now, this must be the year that we say enough is enough. These pay-to-play deals hurt Democrats just as much as Republicans and independents. It's not just Republicans that have left the state of New York. They hurt the young, the old, and everyone in between. They hurt someone in Syracuse just as much as they hurt someone in Harlem or on Long Island, and it has to stop. Voters cannot keep the number 2 of the Cuomo administration and expect you're going to get real change. I'm asking every New Yorker in every corner of the state, I don't care what your political stripes is, but to stand up and do something different. Lee Zeldin signed on the dotted line, and he was willing to sacrifice his life for his fellow citizens. He's a regular guy, raising his family in the same working class town that he grew up in. He's a man of integrity. He's a man that will restore honor to our government. And because if we don't have that at the core of everything we do, we will lose our state forever. Kathy Hochul had her chance to prove that to the New Yorkers that she would be different, but instead, sadly, she's become Andrew Cuomo 2.0. And this version is worse. This is the year that we will take our state back and return it to the people. So I thank you very much, and I think we'd be happy to try to facilitate any questions people might have.
Any members of the news media have questions? You can use the Q&A function or raise your hand. We'll give it just a minute. Otherwise, we'll wrap up.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.